Welcome, Aries. Welcome to your new full moon in Aquarius reading for July 23rd, 24th. I've got a bit of sunlight here, which I'm not complaining about, but thanks for joining me. We've laid out a shortened Celtic cross for you, and we'll go through and clarify. We start out in the central point here with the Seven of Cups. In the Thoth deck, it's called debauch. It is just a case of, a time of, in some ways, a little bit constipated, this Seven of Cups in this deck. You can see there's a level of stagnation, but we are moving. There are still options. We have a lot of choice, I do see here, Aries, but it may well be a moment where you are just assessing your general situation and what direction to go in next. It is crossed by the gorgeous Prince of Swords. I say there's a level of confusion because the Prince has been taken along really by these three sort of fairy figures here. There is no specific direction. He is just going, or she just going with it. There's a level of not having an end point, or not having decided anything yet. So whatever's going on for you, of course, these are incredibly general readings, so it may or may not resonate. The basis of this is the Prince of Wands. Now, of course, court cards can always be personalities in your life or people that you're dealing with, actually. So the Prince of Wands is sort of on and off, in that sense, somewhat unreliable. As I say, it just looks like there's a level of not necessarily confusion, but a time where you're kind of just trying to make up your mind about whether it's a certain direction to go, whether it's to do with work, it could be to do with work, love, your general situation at the moment. What's behind you is the Emperor. So this is a pretty powerful kind of card. Whether we will go through and clarify, but I do get a sense that you've overcome something here, and at this point in time, you've got a lot of potentials, but you've not actually specifically decided on anything yet. Underneath it all, I do think in this reading that you sort of, you are heading in a particular direction, which is cutting loose, Aries. Whatever you decide, whoever's impacting you or whoever impacts your decision on what you're doing next. I do feel like there are other people here involved in this for you. The Emperor is a wonderful card, but I often think of it as having levels of restriction. Often they can be structures, that you work within, or those sort of restrictive elements of, a person, whatever, but often institutions. Your current position, we have the Chariot. The Chariot can move off in an incredibly fast and balanced way. It's having, for example, all the elements within yourself as well, at a level where you really understand possibly quite a few more things than what you did a year or two or whenever ago. And this is allowing you to move quite freely and to possibly make a decision that's based on cutting loose and just going with, just starting all over again, you know. I say this because moving forward we have the Fool. We know the Fool has really shed certain things. The Fool is able to jump off that precipice or jump off into a new journey, into a new future. He doesn't have, or she doesn't have anything holding them back. So it is quite nice, but there is a level of confusion, it seems, in the central point. In the central point at the moment. And of course the Prince of Wands, yes, a risk taker, experimental, maybe a bit on and off, you know. And we do have this level of being led on a little bit of a dance at the moment. And I mean that because, I mean that in the sense that there is a purpose to that sometimes. We don't always know what our next step, our next step is. Let's get some clarity. Let's just get some clarity here. Sorry, it's just the sun's, I couldn't quite get myself in the right position. 7 of Cups, please, for Aries at this time. Yeah, I mean, it is causing a little bit of, I do get a sense, well, we get the 9 of Swords. It's a card of unfounded worry. Don't worry. Because it is. It's catastrophic thinking. There's no purpose for it. It just really makes us confused. And I think probably here that Prince, yeah, I always say there's a purpose to this. I mean, there is a purpose to being somewhat confused sometimes. But don't let, you know, the guidance here, I would say, is don't let fear make your decisions for you. Don't make any decisions based on unfounded fear and general worry about things that haven't even happened yet, you know. I mean, the future hasn't happened yet, has it? Prince of Swords here, please, for Aries. Oh, Prince of Swords for Aries, please. Oh, who was that? I think there's been a bit of time like that you've worked hard at giving yourself some more options, like breaking free to a degree, allowing yourself more opportunity or more options to consider. You've worked at that, but I think you're having a moment where you're just doubting, and I think that's quite natural. We get the 4 of Swords and the 8 of Discs. You know, just take a deep breath, Aries. It's all looking pretty damn wonderful. Look, let's have a look at the Chariot. This is fast movement. And this is in the position that you're at at this point in time. We get the 2 of Discs, which is keeping a level of balance. Whoops. A level of balance within movement and chaos, let's face it. Actually, let's have a wee look at the Emperor here. That is behind you, Aries. Wow. Suddenly, several more things are revealed. So with the Chariot here, to clarify the Chariot, we get the Two of Discs, keeping a state of balance. As I said, balance is everything here. And then the Double 11, Four of Wands, the happy home. The happy home. You know, Aries, I think you've appreciated the fact that you can, even in times of uncertainty, that you yourself are your happy home. Because within the Chariot we see, you know, Cancer, the crab. And I do get that feeling like you're carrying your home with you. The Emperor, to clarify, and that's just behind you here. We get the Ace of Cups. You know, maybe in some way, someone else in a position of power, or you yourself, sanction this. And I do think sanction this big shift, this change, this like letting go of everything and just seeing where, giving yourself a chance for some new opportunities, to be a little bit freer than what you have been. I say this because with the Emperor we have the Ace of Cups. This is a gift. And realize you yourself, your internal home, is as important as anything else. I mean, it will carry you through in times of confusion. I think you've understood this because we get that gift of the Ace of Cups. We get the Ten of Swords. I think with the Emperor, whether that's a person or a situation or a job, you reach the end of a cycle, of like a natural cycle here. When we get to this Ten of Swords, it is like a, now I see. Now I see. It is like, boom, we've learnt that one. Now we can start all over again. We can start again. All right. And somewhere here, you know, it's like you've understood that your home, you know, is actually within you. I do get that. Which you didn't see that before, Aries. We get the Four of Cups talking about that. Okay. The gift. It's a gift. A gift of knowledge, understanding. Let's have a look at the Fool for Aries, please. For Aries, please. The Fool moves ahead without any baggage, really. It's quite amazing. Yeah. You followed whatever's gone on here, because it starts with a lot of confusion, a directive not to follow catastrophic thinking. When we're used to having things very organised and goal-orientated and planned out, if something comes in to shift that, it's like having your foundations altered. Then, you know, we are driven to find an internal home, a kind of balanced core that we can rely on when everything around us is very uncertain and unreliable, Aries. So to clarify this beautiful Fool, moving forward, we have the Knight of Swords who comes through very quickly, cleans things out, gives us some insight. And we have the Strength card. We've tamed what is in fact aspects of that Nine of Swords. We were at the end of an old cycle. So it's quite amazing, and you've run with that Ball of Swords, you know, Aries. Can we have some guidance moving forward with the journey map, which is all about maps, discernment, yes. And so we get discernment, plain and simple, kind of like the King or Queen of Swords. Don't base future decisions on what have been maybe emotional experiences of the past. Don't overlay the past on the present. And of course the future hasn't happened yet, Aries, you know. What you're doing is experiencing the now. In this reading, it feels very strong. I also get a sense that you, in this process, are gravitating or have gravitated to maybe people that you have great... Not that everyone has to be similar. I mean, I don't mean it like that, but you've gravitated to a position where you've sort of found your own tribe of people or collection of people, and it's a very potentially fertile environment. We get Lady of the Hearth, which is a beautiful card. It's a place where everyone is nourished, a place where everyone is welcome, and there's a fire, and there's food, and there's philosophy, and great discussion, and art, and inspiration. It's a place of nourishment on every level, and I think with embodying the fall and overcoming a few things here, that is you decided that is what you wanted, and that in fact these experiences of the Ace of Cups coming into our lives can really shift our perspective, whatever that happens to be at that time, but it can shift us into realizing when a cycle has ended and that we've learnt new information, we've picked up what we needed to, and now we can... Oh, there's a little ladybird on the cards. How cute. It's a little baby one. It's very tiny. So, all in all, Aries, beautiful. Oh, we'll get... Whoops. Excuse me, Aries. We'll get... it's just a kind of... let's see, the light. We'll get a wee Pixie and Fairy card to top it all off for from Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle. Oops. Just want to get a few. Oh, I just want to get a few here. Try not to tip everything over. You know, we get, yeah. We get to begin with, we get the topsy-turvets, where I think is you've had that moment, that topsy-turvy moment, where something can look, which way is up, which way is down with the topsy-turvets. It's also about people seeing you and watching you. Like, you're an example. You're a perfect example of someone who has had, and this won't resonate for everyone, who has had some major shifts going on, almost like when you see, you know, a rug pulled out from under you, is just what I hear, that you've really gone with it, and people see that. People see it. And it's opened up some really interesting new directions for you, Aries. At the same time as the topsy-turvets, we get Mikala Mako, which is about having fun. It's about childlike fun and energy and remembering those things from our childhood. You know, those dreams, those wonderful imaginings of what we would be. Then we have this beautiful fawn. It's a card of friendship. It's a card of counterparts, as I was saying. I think you are seeking or have sought out in your journey and on your journey as the Fool. You have sought like-minded comrades. There's a mirroring in this beautiful card. One side completes the other. It's a mirrored image. I think you're really brave in the way that whatever's gone on for you, Aries, here, that you have dealt with it and you continue to move forward, and you are being inspired along the way. So, Aries, on that note, thank you for joining me today. Enjoy this beautiful full moon in Aquarius, and we will see you next time. Thanks, Aries. Cheery.